Hello and welcome. Goodness. Okay, so last time I tried this from the new home studio, it was a little glitchy. So y'all let me know if I'm coming through okay, if you can see me, if you can hear me, if I've got everything configured correctly here. I've got coming through. I guess there we go. Turn that one off. Now, this is kind of cool. This is a YouTube public live, so welcome to the live stream. If you're watching the replay, then welcome. Pleasure to have your company here. But I'm just looking at the live chat right now. It's all Tisha Campbell, which is awesome. So great to see the community here. We've got like one of the coolest communities online, in my opinion, the coolest community online. So it's great to see everybody here represent. Awesome. Well, today I've got something special to share with you. I'm going to attempt to do something maybe a little bit silly. I'm going to show you the size of this canvas we're going to be working on today. And it's about 20 inches by 40 inches. So it's pretty sizable. Now it's a linen panel. So this is linen that has been stretched around a wooden frame. It's a hard backing on that. So there's not any give on that canvas at all. But this is a project, a little bit sizable to try and knock out. Here's the thing. If you know me and if you've watched me before and if you've seen my videos, you'll know time to make a paint. But one thing I can do in these live streams is mix it up with you in the comments, answer your questions live, and get a jolly good start on things here at the easel, as they say. So we're gonna do our best to come up with something here that is sunset inspired. And I had a little bit of a brainwave this morning. I was going through some ideas. I had something in mind that I was gonna do, but you know how it is. Another idea came in, completely hijacked the first one, and now I'm feeling like I've got to do this thing. So I'm throwing you a little bit of a curveball. I'll change the thumbnail later. Video bait and switch. We're still doing sunsets or sunrise, whatever floats your boat. But this one's gonna be a little bit different. Let's get into it. That's acreage right there, says Irene. Absolutely, a little bit. Now, by the way, this is how I like to do things here on the live stream. Just before I go into that, if you have a question and you're watching live right now, do me a huge favor and type into the live chat QQQ, 3 capital Qs. That way, you can tag me, highlight my name. It shows up in bright orange. Because this is a YouTube public live stream, it's out there for everybody, I might not get to your comments or questions. I'm sorry about that. I'll do my best to answer every question that I can. That's what I'm here for. I love to paint in oils. I love to paint, period. I just absolutely love this. I eat, sleep, breathe this stuff, and it's my passion and my heart to share this journey with others and to help other people improve their painting. So if that's you, if you want to improve your painting, that's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. I really love the old masters too, I should say. Really paintings from the past works, and my job is to kind of try and figure out how the old masters did it and then replicate that and then present that to you. So if you like that sort of thing, around. If you're not subscribed, you do that too. Let's get stuck into painting. There you go. That's it. So what? Little cues. QQQ before a question. Now, if you're never seen me paint live before, if you've never seen any of my videos, if this just popped up on your feed and said, hey, you might enjoy watching, and the algorithm brought you here, then do me a huge favor. Leave me a comment right now in the live chat. If you're watching the replay, leave me a comment. And because it's a public live stream, let's help get more people in. So before we get going, click that like button, all right? Click the like button. That will help other people discover this chat right now while we're going live. Let's talk about the audio's choppy. I know. Okay. It's probably going to happen. I'm probably going to be experiencing difficulties again on this live stream. I've plugged in with an Ethernet cord. Okay. Audio's a bit choppy. Anyone else? I'm plugged in. Let's just see if it improves, okay? Few pops. Okay. Let's just see if it comes. All right, let's go now and that we're going to be talking about today. So here's the idea that came in. Yeah, okay, so a little bit of context. Thank you, Jim Stevens. Thank you, Alan Voss. Okay, let me give a little bit of context. Right now, I'm coming to you from Wanaka, South Island of New Zealand. Now, those megapops have got to go through those internet tubes a long way to get to you, probably. So far for Nettie, Kiwi over there. Nettie's just across the ditch from me, but at least permaculture Kiwis down here in Aotearoa. So, look, it's going to be maybe a little bit choppy, but we've got a major system that has just parked itself over Wanaka in the Queenstown Lakes area, and it is raining a storm. So hopefully it corrects itself. Okay, so here's the idea. This is what I was talking about. This is the idea. This is what we're talking about here. And it's a series of photographs that I basically just shot on my iPhone. Now, we all have this. We've all pretty much nowadays market. So you can get photos on your iPhone, surely, and start creating albums. So every time I see an inspiring sunset, I just go ahead and take some shots. Some of them from the car. As we're driving down the road, I thought, wow, that looks pretty good. Some of them are from files from many years ago, from all different parts of the world. And I was thinking, here's the idea. Some cool ideas for skies. Let's go ahead and add that to some waves. How neat would that be? But there's some other important aspect of this. The other aspect of this is Old Master historical reference. Now, one of my favorites of all time is Frederick Judd Wall. I know Jim Meeker is fond of Frederick Judd Wall as well. Shout out to Meeker. Now, here, I've got a collection of paintings that I just downloaded online, and I'm often looking at old masters, not necessarily to copy them, but just to get inspired. Now, what I really love about Wall is that he's got work, really chunky brushwork, very impressionistic, very loose. I don't often paint like this, but I appreciate it. But a simplified composition. His compositions are actually really, really pared back, very simple, nothing complicated about them, very easy on the eyes. And so with those thoughts in mind, I'd like to take some of these waves, add it to a neat looking sky, maybe something like that, and then create an interesting seascape painting. How's that sound? If you're digging it, if you're vibing it on the audio, then please click that like button. How do I spell the last name? W-A-U-G-H. Melissa Coleman. QQQ from Good Vibes. Can you still paint oil on acrylic? Yes, you can, Good Vibes. Absolutely you can. That's a common way of working. So let's get some material up here. I sincerely hope that, I apologize about that. It's live. You got to expect some little things to come up here and there, I'm sure. You'll bear with me, won't you? Thanks so much. Okay, I'm going to just reduce this down so you can see not only the full palette, but pretty much the full painting as well. So that will give you a full view of my painting. There won't be much detail in this corner where that reference material is overlapping. Right, let's get into it. Now, with my colors are a little bit extended. If you've watched before, you'd be like, a lot of color out in your palette. Far from a limited palette. In fact, I'm not using a limited palette at all. I'm not going to use probably every color here in this demonstration, and we're only going to be doing the first part of the painting. I'm working over a colored ground in Prematura. I'm going to sketch our composition first freehand. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of composition things. We're going to work on that simplification, and then that's going to provide our full, then start blocking in our color. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. You tweak the color. Actually, Kid Lion, I put this, the reference just straight from my iPhone up here. Now, the one, correction, the one in the center is an iPhone shot. The other two either side, they've not been edited, but I do sometimes edit the color, but those ones aren't. One of them on the far left, my Aussies are going to know that that's Great Ocean Road, an area called Gibb Steps, just outside. And then so that's the south coast in Victoria. And then over on the far right hand, that's the west coast. And I'll do this. I'll take references from all over the place and then shove them together. All right. It's a thumbs up sign. Yeah, click the thumbs up. Thank you, Katie Irish. Appreciate that. Oh, and Tamara's here. As soon as I see Tamara's name, it reminds me to hit that record button. There we go, Tamara. I'm recording. Can you be my camera? Walk. Hey, Hugo. Hugo's here. Okay, buddy. You want to say hi to the good people? Do you want to say hi to the good people?
Hi.
Yeah, do you know Daddy's on a live stream right now? Okay, you go back in there with Mommy right now, okay? All right. Love you, buddy. Bye. Remind me to lock for the door. Oh, my son, he's 3.5. I absolutely adore him. I should. I'm his daddy, so. All right, I'm going to mix up a little bit of color here. I've got burnt umber and a little bit of permanent crimson today. I sometimes use quinacridone magenta. That can work too. But I make up this rusty burgundy color, and this is often what I'm sketching with. So I'm using a number 2 synthetic round made by Rosemary & Co. This is a Shiraz round, nice long handle, and this is all I'm using to sketch it up. There's no charcoal here, there's no pencil, there's nothing here that's informing me, just a little bit of inspiration from my reference material. Now I don't, often I'll have, let me show you something by the way. We did this on a previous live stream, perhaps you were there, but this is all how I'll plan out by doing this. So before we get stuck in, I'll show you this. This is just a loose sheet of linen on a board, and these are just a series of little color studies. Can you see that? Let me just angle that so you can see on the, and so each of those are about 10 centimeters by 20 centimeters for the longer ones, about 10 for the short ones. That gives me all the information to go on to a bigger painting, but I can tell from there what needs to be changed. So those are some landscapes that are coming your way this year. Good fun. It's actually a lot of fun painting little because you can get done with a little painting in one sitting. So I don't often just wing it and just go like this, but hey, today let's have some fun. Now, the main point of today's live stream is clouds and skies and sunsets. So first thing I'm thinking about when I'm painting is I'm thinking about dominance. I don't care about not being able to draw. It ain't about straight lines. It'll be straightened up later with a multitude of strokes. But dominance is what I'm thinking about. And there's a line that I really like. You've heard of rule of thirds, right? I'm sure you've heard thirds. This line here is a little that rule of thirds. This is the golden ratio. If you want a quick way of finding the golden ratio, it's 5. So simply come down, divide that in 8, your vertical section, come down 5, boop, 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 cross there. Why choose that line? Well, it gets it out of dead center. It gives us a little bit more space for the sky because I want it to be sky dominant. And it's still going to be important, landing on the shore, but I want to have plenty of that breathing. And that's going to be the main thing. I'm thinking we're not going to have much light here, but it's important to identify where our light source is going to be. Now, because I think the light's actually the longest places leading the eye to it, the light source, I don't know if I'm going to paint the sun. I do like that reference material in the center. What I think I'm going to do is just kind of right through here. So the golden ratio coming the other way, I think that's where I'm going to put my light source. That makes a really good position. So again, it gets it out of center, right a little bit. Maybe we lift it up a little bit so it's out of horizontal center. It was a little bit close to horizontal center. So I think X marks the spot. That's where we're going to go. All right. Do I ever sell my studies? I do. I do all. So I've actually, from that board you just saw there, I've sold those. So, yeah. Hello, Tom from Connecticut. How are you? Is the paint and solvent a mix or just the oil paint as it is? Great question there, Prachi. Okay, this burnt umber, a little bit of quinacridone magenta, and the medium that I'm using here in this little left-hand side of my palette here, that's original. Can you all tell me, is the audio better now? Is it stabilized a little bit? Thank Lori, appreciate that. Peace. Thank you, Ash. You're too nice. Hey, I answered the question before you even asked it, Arnold. How are you? Shout out to Puerto Rico. Awesome. Still choppy, still very glitchy. But it will, says Barbara. Well, I appreciate it. No one's bothering me live chat about it. I'll see what I can do for the next stream. We'll just truck it out, okay? And I'll see if I can fix it for tomorrow. Maybe if I do, it might be the actual Rode mic. It might be time for a new microphone. Is that going to be better if I put it right there? Still glitchy. Freezing. Okay. Weird because I know internet cable. Sounds good to me in Tennessee. So some people are doing okay. Okay. It'll suffice. Thank you, Good Vibes. And I appreciate you, Good Vibes. Thank you so much. Repeat my last. Can't remember what the question was about. Medium original. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, if I've got a focal point over on the right side, it would make good sense to point over on the left-hand side to kind of get some sense of balance between the two. This, I think, would be a really good place to put my wave. And I think we have a little bit of a break in our wave right there. We're going to have the curl. And of course, waves follow a sense of perspective here into the distance. We can lose that in a bit of chop. I'll make it a little bit smaller. So it's not a particularly violent seascape, as I'm going to do. I do waves that would just about kill. This one's just a nice evening stroll on the beach. And I like that, by the way. I like compositions and paintings that aren't, should we say, threatening. They don't make you think too much. It's just a nice moment when you look at the painting to just... There's another painter I want to shout out. He's no longer with us, unfortunately, but he used to be an inspiration. I bought a few prints of his over the years that you find often at thrift stores here down under. And his name's Peter Ellenshaw. Now, if that name well, he was many years ago for Walt Disney, some of those original Disney films. I think he did Treasure Island. He did Spartacus, I think it was called. Two big pictures. Long before CGI, there was actually people painting by hand on glass panels, backdrops for movies. But he went on to be a very successful artist, a fine art painter. And I quite like it. I think he got some incredible, and I particularly like his seascapes. They're very simple, very elegant, most of them, and they give you a really nice. So I'm thinking about Peter Ellenshaw put this together. And speaking of simplicity in the composition, I'm also thinking about Frederick Judd Wall. Love Treasure Island, says Good Vibes. Hey, John, how are you? Sorry, Lauren Allen, we'll just deal with it. He did Star Wars, didn't he? He might have. I mean, I know they painted stuff for Star Wars. Okay, let me try something. We're gonna quick pause, just like it's just unsalvageable. So let me just see if I can do something with the audio here. Can you see if I can find my other microphone? And I'll try. And maybe the only problem is it's a bit of a risk. I didn't charge these up because of these ones, but we might be able to make it work. Okay, right. So I'm gonna go flat and blank here for a second. Just give me 1 second and I'll be right back to you. Right. All right, let me know if that's coming through, and if that's better. I might have a faulty mic. Can you please just let me know if you can hear me? It might be a little bit loud, but let's just try that. The video is cutting in and out too. I'm not on OBS, Patricia. I'm on Ecamm Live, and I'm plugged straight in, Wi-Fi turned off. A bit loud, but better. Okay. All right, how about now? Is that coming through better? How about now? There we go, that should be a little bit glitchy. Is better so far, much louder, still choppy, definitely clearer. Okay, sounds better, I can hear you louder, but still cutting out. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. You can just watch, and hopefully it's not gonna be so choppy. I'm sorry. That's really disappointing, but hey, it's live, you know, and not much we can do about it. So I'll do some investigation after this and see if we can bring you a great quality one here in the near future. I go live also about every 2 weeks here on YouTube. So too low says, turn me up then. Okay. All right, how about now? Is that coming through a little bit better? Sounds better so far. Okay, just turn me up. Actually, I think one thing I could do is just increase the size of that wave. I need a little bit bigger. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I know where I want to put my wave. My wave's going to go right there. It's going to sweep up onto the shore right there. And then I think we can have some trails down this way and maybe even lead in right there. So there's something else in painting, compositionally speaking, called vectors. Now, if you saw the critique video with Srinivas, then these form little arrows that point towards your intended focal point. If our focal point is up there in the top of the painting, then I like having sweeping lines that seem to direct the eye sort of towards that destination. Now, let's have a look at our sky. This is going to be the critical bit. What I love is that image over there on the left. Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad I'm coming through better. Right. Thank you. Am I afraid of blowing out? No idea. Appreciate it. It's all good. All right. Cool. All right, palette. We're gonna break down the color here in a second. Eileen, bear with me. We're gonna break it down here in a second. Now, I want to have a general trend here around that light dips down, that cloud dips down, and that sun, like in that image that you see over there in the center on your screen, that sun is kind of cradled down that low portion. I kind of like that. We also need just a clouds floating above, almost like eyebrows. It's kind of neat. And then some atmosphere above. So we've got a window in the sky that's opened up. I'm just making some light marks that are going to inform. Now my Bichon Frise is going. He's going off of the... He always cries when Mama and Hugo walk out the door. Daddy, as far as he's concerned, is chopped liver. He doesn't care. So if you hear a dog whimpering and barking in the background, that's who it is. That's young Alfie. Now with the sky, what I absolutely love is different things going on, okay? So I want to have a bank of cloud moving through there. I want to have clouds in front of that bank of cloud. I want contrast, light against dark, dark against light shapes. And I really want a sense of perspective. So I'm taking my references, I'm taking cues from my references, and I'm just going a little bit nuts with my lines. I'm feeling my way along. So we've got seascape. I've got some ideas about where my sky and my clouds are going to go. Should we get some color down? Let's get some color down. Strategically. Now, because sunset's throwing top on their head. This is the point where when we start to put down color, it makes good sense to, for one, save your tonal for last, okay? Save your color best for last. Often, when I'm working in the studio, I start with whatever's furthest here, that's sky. But here's the deal. Tonally, that's the brightest thing. And in terms of color, it's the most saturated thing. So I'm not going to start there when I come to paint a sunset. I'm going to start somewhere else. I'm going to start with my neutral first, which is going to be the violets and we're going to build saturation in. All right, if you're excited, click the like button if you haven't already. And shout out to all my Tissue Academy people. Before we get stuck to demonstration today, I'm going to just do two. Number one, I'm going to ask folks, you can see a little bit more of that composition. I'm going to ask my Tissue Academy folks to tell everybody what you think of the Academy so far. I tell you what, we've got the coolest exclusive community on the internet, and I'd really love it if you're not part of the Academy, if you would join us. Let me just one quick minute. Let me go over here to my screen. Now, Tissue Academy is our online art school. I wanted to create an art school that was around when I started. And so what we're teaching here on the Academy is painting technique. Light from oil. If you're an acrylic painter, you get so much out of it. But that's not all. You know, don't only get hundreds of hours of painting content, but feature-length painting demonstrations. I go live every single week for my Academy VIP tier. Critique video there as well, where we talk, and that's a prep to your art. And then we've got an art business course as well, where I'm talking about how to make it in today's art world, how to navigate things like websites and social media, how to get into galleries. I'm about to drop real big in that creator activator course, which is the art business course. That part of this though is the exclusive community. You know, if you want to get better at painting, it makes good sense to mix it up with some peers and some people who are on the journey with you. We're all at different stages, but the growth that you experience as a result of a supportive community is second to none, in my opinion. So check it out. Click the link in the description down below or go to tish.academy. There's the address there at the bottom of the screen. A free 7-day trial. Okay? Thanks so much for joining us in the community. Join us at Tissue Academy, and I tell you what, you're going to experience some incredible gains and level up your painting. All right, and a shout out to all my Tissue Academy folks who are here in the live chat right now. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Okay, let's here and some of this color. So we'll get some of our reference material back on the screen. Not that one, that one, that one, and that one. And let's get our palette back, and there we go. So if we're going to start with something kind of neutral, and I've got quite a lot of area to work on, I'm going to need to do something real quick. I'm going to have to cover here on the palette, obviously, but if I'm going to cover this ground quickly, I'm going to need a big brush. Got it. A 5/8 of an inch. I love that golden ratio all the way. 5/8. We're using the golden mean down here with our composition. We're also using it in our brush. That was totally unintentional, by the way. I'm going to use a dagger, 5/8, and I'm going to use a number 10 Rosemary & Co. Ultimate Filbert. Those two should really do wonders when it comes to the blocking. I could go bigger, but that's about as big as it gets for me when it comes to blocking in something this size. Okay, so what are our, well, let's go over here, and I've got on the palette 3 different. Hey, what gives? Why? That's a bit greedy. Well, look over here. Titanium white, Flemish white, which I'm loving, by the way, my Tissue Academy peeps. Flemish white, Crimnance white. Now, I love Crimnance. So we got titanium-based white and 2 lead-based whites. But here's the deal. Titanium white, very opaque. Flemish white sits somewhere between Crimnance and titanium in terms of its opacity. And so it's a great mixing white, particularly with, and the remnants white is a beautiful transparent white, lead-based. Using zinc, some of that beautiful lead-based white for my transparency. They've just made it illegal here in New Zealand, which, wow, thank you so much, New Zealand government. A lot of governments, so you can't buy it in New Zealand anymore, but you can get it shipped to you. So shout out to Eric Silver from BlueRidgeOilPaint.com. He makes the oils that I use by creating a nice warm violet, which is a combination of quinacridone magenta and ultramarine blue. So light tone, very simple combination. Ultramarine, quinacridone magenta, too much quinacridone, you'll check this out, it's going to go too purpley, too violet, too much blue, and it's just a blue. So I want to go somewhere between. Now a little bit of medium, 1 medium to 3 parts. So let's get into it. So I'm imagining right here, we're going to have some clouds in front of our sunshine. Already against the imprimatura, that's looking pretty cold. But color is context. And so as we get more colors in here, we'll be able to make a value judgment. What I want to do first is just get down the color. Let's not fiddle about, let's just get it down. Now there is an image that I am referring to. In fact, I should just go ahead and drag this in now. I keep getting it out the way, but I think it's going to be important. So let me go ahead and bring it there, and if that gets in the way, I can move it at another point. But that one I'm referring to as well. Now that one, by the way, was shot above the town I used to live in, Lawrence, in the South Island of New Zealand. And it doesn't matter, just if you see a sky that you think is inspiring, chuck it in there. Just chuck it in. QQQ from Lilac Rose. How do you get your oil paints to that consistency? Mine are always dry, thick, and hard to work with. Linseed oil doesn't work. Try Liquin. Try Liquin. I use Liquin Original. Right on, Robertson. Thank you. Yep. Liquin Original. Now, there's a lot of purists out there. I got camp when it comes to my approach with oil. I like additional practices, but I like convenience mediums that are on the market. And I've copped a bit of flack for that stuff, but I think that Liquin is great, so long as you adhere to a few. Okay, so we get into trouble when using mediums when we have just too stinking much medium in our mixes. Don't have so much medium in your mix. Just 1 part medium to 3 parts paint. That's number 1. But as long as every layer of paint got a little bit of medium in a thing called adhesion. So 1 layer. That's going to work pretty good. Now, I'm going to start from that area and I'm going to start working my way around. I'm thinking, and you can see in that image on the right, that we have some dark clouds in front. I'm just going to be putting in those darker shapes first. I want to introduce a little bit more of that rusty red, so I'm actually using those 3 skies. I'm going to be combining them. Often I don't, mainly for, it's, you know, it's okay. It's okay. You know, sometimes if you need, you know, that, but on palette knife now. Now I'm going to get out a little bit more of a gray. Burnt umber to neutralize green blue. And so if you want to create a gray, a little bit of that goes a long way. Let's get some Liquin Original in there. Create a bit more flow. Right. Yeah, I know, Marcus. I know. We're just dealing with it. I've gotten the section has been blowing the oil. So well, I hope that's okay. I'll figure it out on the next live stream. There's nothing I can do about it today. I'm sorry. and I sincerely hope I can fix it on the next one. Now, I hope my audio doesn't chop out too much for the next section of this painting, because there's something super cool I want to talk to you about. By the way, most of the sky is going to be this color. You see how it's got like a little bit of a lilac color coming through? A little bit of a purpley lavender type color. That's that quinacridone magenta and ultramarine blue. I just love it. I can do a bit of a better job drawing that straight line now with my dagger brush. If I got some paint on my brush and I'm pressing, no spirit level or ruler required. How good. How good. Bit more quinacridone, bit more Flemish white. Bit more ultramarine blue. And we'll start bringing our clouds out into this region. Tomorrow Saturday is at 8 a.m. I'll be going live on the Academy for 3 hours. Now, nickel yellow are two beautiful that I've recently introduced, and they have a nice to them, similar way to. And so if I require a warmer green a little bit in here, I have the tendency to green. Some way to counteract that green is to make sure that there we go. Make sure that I add a bit of quinacridone magenta to the mix, and that redness given by the magenta annihilates that green tinge. We'll talk a little bit more about that in this stream as we color, because it's super important when it comes to painting a sunset. You're going to have a pretty decent understanding of color theory and the color wheel. Now, I don't get too fancy with it. I divide the color wheel into 6 parts: green, blue, violet. That's it. And then that gives me pretty decent information on where my complementary opposites lie. Now, hopefully, let me just check the stream and see if I'm coming through okay, at least visually. So we'll come over here. Yep, good exposure. Good, cool. Yeah, again, I apologize about the we're going to up our connection to them. When I patched in, I got a really decent upload and download speed. We're going to get the best, particularly at the new studio as well. By the way, I'm coming to you from my home studio, and I've just recently moved. I know, again, and I am building the big studio now. I've got tradesmen in there today, so said magenta is a bully. That's right, permaculture. I'm just going to top off because I'm sweltering. Just bear with me 1 second. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Despite, you can just watch. I tell you what doesn't glitch out. I tell you what always has perfect audio and video are the demonstrations on Tisch Academy. So check those out. All right, now, one thing I love about skies is a bit of contrast. So I'm going to get in here with my burnt umber, ultramarine blue, a little bit of quinacridone magenta, and just under the clouds, start to firm up the base of them. A little bit of cobalt blue now. Now, the other thing that's super important about skies is value. You saw me just put a on there, the value. I'm not too worried about making a mistake. I make them all the time once you make them. So if it's too dark, just go ahead and start working over the top and work that back into the surrounding area. I just want a slightly deeper underside to that cloud. so it forms an under edge to that. We can get some sense of volume and cloud. Actually, I really, really like this sky, that red over there on the right. I think that's neat. So where I'm going to vary it is I'm going to get some of that color up here now and start to bring it down. So it's like we're seeing through an eye. The sun hopefully will eventually, right there, form the pupil. Too much? I don't know. Let's see if it works. Let's start up here. Start bringing a bit of that color down. I'm actually mixing quite a lot of paint. And if you want to go far, it's going to require some volume. Now, fortunately, I'm recording this on 2 separate cameras. So for my Tisch Academy folks, we'll be breaking this down in more detail. Thank you so much, Ollie. Appreciate it. Thank you, John. Thank you. Now, this is going to be a transition zone. We come into some brighter sky right there. And we go through a flush of warmth right there before we drop into that bright sky. Immediately, gears go over here to the, and we'll start that cloud right there. So a bit of burnt umber. Ultramarine blue, a little bit of cornelian magenta. But that's okay. The old masters actually went dark on a lot of their paintings, very dark indeed. And sometimes that can be really effective. You want to have a strong sense of light, and with a sunset, it's important. In order to get that strong light, we're going to have this thing called contrast. So having some nice darks in there can really help kick off a strong sense of light. If there's one thing I love to paint, it's light. Just 1 second. Hey. Rachel, darling. Hey, can I have a coffee, please, honey? Thank you. Awesome. Oh, double espresso coming up. That'll get the brush really cranking over today. Tell you what, man. Five-eighths an inch, I think. Yeah, so this brush here is a Filbert number 10. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this, but this is actually a color study. No, I'm not kidding. This is going to be a color study. This I'm painting really big, so big. Why? Because I enjoy it. I'm creating an experience with my work, so this is the direction that I'm moving in now. Big, monumental, epic pieces. The gallery that I'm building can certainly handle them. I think I'd be a gallerist's worst nightmare if I was showing in a commercial gallery somewhere else if I didn't have my own gallery. Because I'd be like, yeah, I'm taking all that wool. But hey, in my space I could do that. So I'm looking forward to bringing you along for the ride. Scrubbing that paint, that surface. I'm here, let me sort that sucker out there. Have these on hand, by the way. Some paper towels, very, very handy. There's some of those spray bristles. Let's mix up a bit more paint here. And I appreciate your patience with me with the glitchy audio. I'm so sorry about that. It's, again, it's out of my hands. But I will endeavor to investigate and bring you a much smoother, cleaner live stream in the future. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Lynn. Okay. Now, if we're getting a little bit too warm with our colors, you can see here, let me see if I can improve the quality. Do this. Here we go. Let me know if that improves quality. I just did something. Let me know if it comes through a little bit better now after doing that. Hello from Houston. Hello, Agape Love. How are you? Hello, please. In terms of, it could be some of your hardware components. Zoom call was glitch. Yeah, still putting butter in my coffee, Melissa. That's right. Black coffee with butter. That's how you do it. Hola, Sandra. How are you? With butter? You rock. Thank you, honey. Appreciate you. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. She spoils me. That's so nice. Hello from Canary Islands. Hello, Pino. How are ya? Thank you, Elaine. Yeah. Elaine's with me on that one. Thank you. Everybody thinks we're weird. They just... All right. So very simple colors so far. You can see that. And we can do that, right? So it's just mapping in the shapes. Now, hopefully, you can start to see this sweep, this line. Now, is it too on the nose? Is it too much of an even sweep? Well, if we decide that, what we can do is just these and just make a little more of a top on it. Let's have a top and have it wisp off. Now, listen. Me, people, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear if I've made a Barney the Dinosaur, Big Bird from Sesame Street, or a Smurf, or a Snork for that matter. I don't want to hear it. But I always get somebody about my dang shapes that I've inadvertently put in something that I didn't intend to. So you just watch it. It's a buffalo. What did I say? What did I just say? Nessie, is that you? You guys are terrible. I sometimes think you show up every week to troll me. That's it. But hey, isn't that a thing to do? Is to try and pin? I think so. So a subtle lift in the tone, not a huge lift in the tone. So far, all we're doing is we're just making a base. So this is our pizza base. We're about to add our toppings to it. So we just want to come across here with all of our neutrals front. Before we get into that sky, I might even sort out the neutrals down here too, because it's important to tie the sky waves. And one of the things I see when a lot of beginners and intermediate painters, they start blocking in a new scene, combining references, sometimes the context gets lost. And so one, as in the sky, does not relate to two, the foreground. How do you get those to tie together? Now, one thing's continuous throughout this scene, and that is the sense of light. Our light source is constant. Just going to get a little bit of cool blue here, reflecting off the backside of some of these clouds. That warm-cool relationship, I think, is going to be pretty important. Okay, now, somebody tell me, is the audio better? Is the audio better? I think I did something silly, and if it is better, I think I did something silly, and I apologize for the first half of this live. I'll be live for a total of 2 hours today, and so we still got a lot to talk about. I got a yes and I got 3 no's. Pretty good still, says Thomas. Audio's great for me. Audio's great. So I'm going to say to you, it's not me, it's you. Well, if you go back and watch the replay, hopefully the replay is okay. I'm going to lift the temperature slightly, a little bit warmer, a little bit grayer, so it doesn't get so heavy right there at the horizon line. To me, when I'm blocking in a painting like this is the most enjoyable part of the process. It's so immediate. It's so, it's therapeutic. The paint's flowing. It's just you and the brush and a few hundred of your friends online. But you just get immediate impact of the scene. You can see immediately where it's going. From here, yeah, you get bogged down short of little nuance, subtleties, techniques, details, but this part of the painting process, Okay, now we've got another color that's coming through that I want to establish. I'm seeing some evidence, those two reference images, left and right, not the ones in the middle, but left and right. And so there's this secondary bank of cloud that comes up behind these clouds. And so you can see here that I'm actually putting these ones in front first, and now the cloud here. We'll add a little bit to that there, but it's now a little kick in the warm in there before moving on to our foreground. I think this is going to be, I'm going to call it now, a little bit lighter, tonally, a little bit warmer, so I'm going to go with that Naples yellow, nickel yellow. Naples, yeah, it's replaced, but it ain't Naples. And permanent crimson. We'll just see if we can find the right one. It's a little red. You can't see my palette because I'm a dinglebat and I didn't put it on there. Give me a second. It's a little bit red. See what I'm going for here. I got a doohickeys in my mix of stuff coming off the brand new brush, but I'm going to ignore it, pick the really egregious parts off the canvas later. I think we're going to go for a nice warm gray, a nice kind of, it's not too saturated at this stage, but it's just a nice warm tone. That's, I see some evidence in here. When these two colors meet, that cooler blue and this warmish tone, what I'm hoping is that they don't turn green. So hopefully I've got just enough red coming through here that it turn quite, just a little bit of that. Let's go a little bit more white, lift the tone out a bit more, a little bit more quinacridone. Ah, that did it. A bit more quinacridone. There we go. Let's try that. Yeah, that feels right. So again, we just have something kind of neutral-ish to work with and to mix into. So this is my next step, working around some of those darker shapes that we had established before. Working up that boundary of some clouds that we had established. And you'll notice here that as I work up to the edge that we had made before, that color, that burnt umber and quinacridone magenta, it just vanishes. It just disappears. Now we can even introduce a bit of this warm color down behind some of our clouds. Bring it down here into the center as well. Now, one thing you'll start to notice as we paint this is that we've started off very dark and muted, and now what we're going to do is we're going to be turning up that volume, turning up the volume on the tone, turning up the volume on the color. ISO is a little bit high on the palette compared to the canvas. Let's go. There we go. Okay, and there we go. And let's turn it up to 50. Just give me a shout and tell me, is this better? Is that better? Hopefully you'll be able to see it better now when I bring that back in. Okay, now you've used these colors a while. What's the opinion on the nickel? They're alternative genuine Naples. I still don't like it as much, but it is totally working. Okay, I'd like to know how to keep green from showing up in my sunsets. Carrie, stay tuned. We're talking about that. We're talking about that. I've actually just done it here. So you'll notice that there's actually a great deal of, well, for lack of a better word, mud in my palette. But what's happening is it's going through transitions of this coolish gray with lots of violets into this warmish tone. These will neutralize if I have complementary opposites. The secret to avoiding green is use complementary opposites. So what's happening to you, Carrie and others, what's happening to you is most likely you have a blue sky and you're trying to warm up your sky with yellow. The minute you do that with green, it's far better to go for the complementary opposite and warm up your blue sky with orange, and then you'll avoid the dreaded green. Now that said, I'm still going to get green in my sky. I'm going to do it on purpose with a particular color. We'll talk about this here. But it won't be an on the nose green. It's not going to be too strong, but it will just be a little bit of a green tint, if you will. All right. So now hopefully you can see we got some dark shapes in front of a neutral sky. We got this cloud bank coming through. The sun's so intense at this spot that it's going to be burning through that part of the sky. Now, using this same color, I think I'm going to get up in here. I was talking before, the interesting sense that we had, like almost these eyebrows up in the sky coming down in. Beautiful. Please check the camera's recording. Thank you so much, Tamara. Yes, it is. Every bit in HD there, Tamara. Every bit. Every single bit. Excited about this one. It's looking so good already. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate you. I hope you're learning something about sunsets already halfway through. And if you're getting something out of this, then please click that like button. Michelin Man in the clouds is... I'm glad to hear he's gone. I'm glad to hear the Michelin Man that I had inadvertently put in my sky is now gone. See you later. All right. We're going to carry on up into here. And we're going to start to work into the black that we achieved. And the thing I love about clouds in particular, not just sunsets, but just clouds, is the beautiful, elegant simplicity of them. We don't need to be too complicated with our shapes, but this is a great opportunity for layering one thing in front of another. And with just a few simple shapes, you can create this enormous sense of perspective and depth. I love that. So I'm going to work into my light blue color and new peachy apricot warm gray color there. I work them together. If I'm off with my color, I'll end up getting a green, but you notice how that's starting to mix into that blue color, and they're neutralizing. It's actually going into a warm gray, but there's still color there. So your brain's doing a weird brain flipping. You're looking at it going, hang on a second. Well, again, the only reason that's working is because of complementary opposites. So, if you're not familiar with that, on your color wheel, picture red, orange. In fact, do now. Get out a sheet of paper. Let's go. Get out a sheet of paper. Come on, I'll do it with you. You ready? Let's grab this, and let's grab our palette. I'm going to draw it right here. It's going to be little on the screen. I'm going to do it here in ultramarine blue, and I'm going to do a circle on my palette. Okay, now facing you, so it's the right way up for you, we're going to divide that in half horizontally. Okay, now then what we're going to do is we're going to divide that pie into 6, so another 2 times, X across that center line. And then what you're going to do is you're going to paint in here red right there, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, red, green, complementary opposites, orange, complementary opposites, yellow, violet, complementary opposites. Now you're an expert. That's the only lesson on color you're ever going to need. Unless you want to tune into Tisch Academy and go a bit further with it. Well, you might need to, maybe, I don't know. I'm so honored to be here. Now I'm honored to have you, Deborah. Oh, stop that. You're too nice. Roy G. Biv. That's right, Nikki. I see that you go between the devalued and light blue with the center brush. Do you clean? No, I'm just going. So here's what I've got. Here's what I've got. I've got 2 brushes on the go, and this is all I've used so far is 3 brushes. So this one here to sketch in. This one here for my lighter peachy stormy color. And here's some of those violets and lilacs that we've achieved here with our darker shapes. Good questions today. Can I just give you a shout out? Really, really great questions. I totally see the bison too, and I don't even care. Lorna, I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. Will you be blending everything together later? No, I won't be, but that's actually a legit technique and it can be quite effective. I prefer to see some brushwork in mine. So I won't be blending everything together, no, but you totally can. You totally can. So now that I've gone through a peachy color, by the way, now I could totally start going into my yellows, by the way. All right, so now I can go for my nickel yellow deep, and I can start adding just a touch of that nickel yellow deep to the front lead edge without having a green problem. It's a little on the dirty side. I might a little bit, and if it goes too dirty on you, a bit of red nails that and takes care of that right away. Pulls it back into orange, and you just don't have a problem. Okay, everything's pretty muted so far. We haven't brought any light. That's a good. We want to set that tonal best for last, that color best for last. Now remember, sunsets, it's all about that sense of light. If everything's bright and beautiful, then hey, I tell you, if everything has got that high elevated tone, you're going to create that sense of light later on in your painting, because you're just going to keep adding white to the situation and you're not going to get anywhere. So it makes sense to start off neutral and dark, and that way the light can appear. So those lines were getting dangerously close to converging at the edge of my canvas, and my Tisch Academy members would never let me hear the end of that, breaking one of my compositional rules. So I'll go ahead and put a cloud there, and that will terminate those lines that go off in that and then redirect the eye. That's my theory anyway. All right, soften up that lower edge there. Okay, now I'm pretty happy with that for now. This is going to be a very bright stripe of sky right here, very bright. Now before we get into some of these really nice warm colors, not looking at that image left, I want to get a bit of that bright of the sky, some of that really teal color that's coming through. So for that, I'm going to use a bristle flat brush, bristle flat, a little bit older, so it's a bit frayed, just a bit of cobalt blue and cobalt teal. Now, sorry, I've done it to you again. Let's go ahead and switch it a little bit, give you a slightly wider view. Notice this color here, this cobalt teal. It's a beautiful, beautiful greenish blue. Here, it looks electric and cold. One way to key it in with our color that we've established is add just a touch of quinacridone magenta. Now both teal and have a cool bias. That means that they're leaning towards the cool side in their particular section on the color wheel. The magenta is a cool red. That cobalt teal is a cool blue. Let's start to add just a touch of this. Gosh, I'm very, very, very dark on that one, but that's okay. I'm going to add a little bit more white to the mix, some more Flemish white. Get some more medium in there so we can get some nice flow. Ultramarine blue, cobalt teal, Flemish white. Vanessa in the house. Hello, Vanessa. How are you? Do you ever work from most or less? Very fantastic question. Very. You can work. Personally, I find it much easier to turn up the volume than to turn it down. It's difficult to control a color situation that's gotten out of hand too early than to introduce more and more color as you go. But get a load of this. I love this. Now you might think this is, and it is right now because there's no further context for it. The only thing that's helping tie this in at all is the ultramarine blue. It's part of this as well, and a touch of the quinacridone magenta. But check out our reference material and that blue in the sky. You can see quite a punch of blue. So that's what helps us achieve that color. Now, as I come down, I'm going to lift my tone, more white, more quinacridone, and then we're going to start transitioning into a nice light orange. But I think in terms of this brush, I think we're good. I think we're cooked. A little bit of a hole there in our cloud. Let's go ahead and get that in, work that edge. Leaving the boundary right there because I'm the color coming down in there. But we'll just work across that edge. Lose it slightly. All right. I don't know about you, but I kind of like this stripe across the sky. Let's go to our close shot. And you've seen how I mix those colors. Now let's go across here and just see how we can get this to be reflected down here in the foreground. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to now remove my reference material. My reference material, all of it here will be Fish Academy members. All my references are always provided royalty and copyright free. If you want to check those out, remember, you can check that out and download them. They're yours. You can even pay from the demonstrations. I don't mind. Thank you so much, Marlies. Appreciate you. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you so much. Hey, Irene, shout out to my Paint FOMO team as well. We have an epic internal newsletter, guys. Shout out to Vanessa and Irene there as well. Thank you so much. And I'm just reminded of that because I just sent my team the issue there, so Irene should have it now. What do you see, Danielle? What do you see? I love how the clouds look on the screen. Cool. Are you guys still seeing buffalo? I see a buffalo looking at an alligator. Okay. Put the doobie down. Put it down. All right. Now, here's the deal. This is a situation in the context that I'm thinking about. We see the light emanating from the source, the sun, right? But I don't want to have anything here in the foreground except for that warm, beautiful glow of the aftermath of the year. No sun trails, no bright sparkles or reflection. It's a more subtle, pared back color dynamic that I want to go through. It's interesting because the imprimatura coming through, a combination of burnt umber and burnt sienna, This color right here is almost very similar to what we're going to achieve in our sky. So for a sunset, totally works. Love the movement. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah. Yeah. What, is my signature by like hiding stuff in there, Lynn? Is that what you mean? A horse, says John. Yeah. I see a T-Rex. Okay. All right, you guys. All right. Hey, just settle down. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll work on that. Audio's okay now. Fantastic. I think I know what it was, Marlies. And let's just say your boy Tish here, he's an absolute friggin' numpty. Absolute numpty. Because I had the streaming on my system while I was trying to do the live stream. And often I'll do that to just monitor and see it going. But it crapped itself and didn't want to cooperate. So, live and learn, right? Okay. This is going to be just a little bit of an experiment. Now, either side, left and right, we want to have a slight darkening, but I do want to lose this. So it would be slightly darker out here, our ocean. I don't like a strong horizon because it does tend to draw the eye when we're seeing a seascape. Let's have, it's just slightly darker, burnt umber, ultramarine blue, but I won't the palette just now. I want to save that real estate so you can proceed to the action. But to my Tish Academy folks, re-upload this that I'm recording in HD on my cameras. I'll walk you through the exact combinations, okay? Okay. And still recording. And where are we at? We're an hour and 5 minutes in, eh? Okay. Rightio. So, just going to make a couple of passes on that, that line there. And I want a nice soft line. I often don't draw the brush like this in line. For my block in, I want this pretty thin. I don't want much textured brush strokes back here because I want this area to go away. The thing about texture is it shows through those secondary layers of paint. But already since darkening that and leaving the center alone, are we starting to get a sense of the horizontal plane here left by our body of water? Now we got something we can work with. So immediately below that, our ocean. So what are we going to do with the color right there below? Well, I think we're going to have to lighten it slightly. No result. But I'm using the same color as is showing right up there. So no direct reflection of that light source, but just something that's going to be slightly lighter, but at some point we're going to completely lose that edge against the sky. And sometimes that happens on a misty day. You can see the center of that sea now is just disappearing against that sky. So I kind of like that lost edge. Now, I can pick it up and raise the second. But so far, I'm enjoying that. Now, the next part that I want to address is this curling wave and that white water here. We got two components to the wave. You'll see this weird shape right here. It's almost a rectangle that's leaning over, a bit of a trapezoid or a parallelogram right here, about the width of my hand, right? So this shape here is going to be a very dark shape to indicate that curling of the wave, or shall I say darker. And then this here is going to be slightly lighter, where the white wave and the white water is reflecting some of the ambient sky. Now something is that where is the light? The light's here, okay? But is it? Is it just there? Well, no. If I turned around 180, there's going to be light up here behind me, and that's wave. So let's go ahead with that in mind, and we have ambient sky. I'm now going to hit this color here and start to introduce that into my white water, okay? Let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. We'll do it live. It's the light. There you go. Yeah, that's that's good. That's going to be the sun. Would it be it would be helpful to know when you're adding white to your mix and what white you're choosing it. E.g., I'm using this because I want to mix to. Okay, Kat, no worries. I'll try and be a little bit more descriptive there. Okay, so white right in the middle. I'm using that more than any other white there, Kat, and anybody else who wants to know, because it's just a great middle of the range white, but it's lead based, so it help me provide archival grain. Best thing, by the way, that we can do for archival painting practices is paint on a board. Paint on a board. So a rigid support, that's really going to be first and foremost something that's going to last a long dang time. Right. This area here is chaos, broken. For those of you playing the home game that have seen me paint this wave before, not like this. I've painted it with a silvery type of light, but this was shot on the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand, and I just keep coming back to this reference material because it's so stinking good. And so now I'm painting the same dang wave again, but I've just changed the light angle. Quinacridone magenta, a little bit of ultramarine blue. Again, I'm just going to call out my colors that I'm mixing up here because I won't include my palette on the screen. Just so you can see. Oh, would it help? In fact, I could probably do a wide shot. Yeah, go wide. And we could go palette. And my wide shot. Okay, give me 1 second. And we'll plug her back in. Okay, there we go. It's sometimes our board subject to warping. It depends, CJ, what you're painting on. I'm painting on a plywood. It's heavily reinforced on the. It's got a thick strut, about 40 meters deep strut. And some brace the corners as warps. I'd be very surprised. One thing that can help with preventing warp, obviously, with a board, a heavy painting. I'd prefer that to a painting that warps. But go for a thicker board and prime the back. Cutting off a little bit. Yeah, just the top corner, but at least you'll see my palette now, eh? I won't be working up in there for a little bit. Maybe I won't touch that corner again in this stream. All right. It's still recording, Tamara. Still recording. Now you'll notice that the wave that I'm painting right now is actually the same dang color as that cloud, with the exception it's got just a touch of cobalt teal in it, just a touch. We could add a little more teal. And I love the way that greeny blue interacts with the more violety blue. That's fantastic. So now you can see that opening that we're going to leave there is void just for 1 little second here. Come back to it in a minute. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, Vanessa, I've been hearing about it. Family in different ways, totally. Yeah, they are very different in Perth and Western Australia. Spent a long time there. Today, Balsam, today. What color material for the underpainting? It's oil paint there, Prachi. Yeah, it's just oil paint with a little bit of Gamsol and some liquid original. Now, sometimes you just got to get out some dang paint. That's what I have to keep telling myself. Painter's got to paint, so use friggin' paint, dude. There's just not enough paint on my brush, I'm finding. So, quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, Flemish white, and let's get out some cobalt teal. There we go. It's a little bit on the dark side, but that's okay. Let's get in there and start adding to the volume of some of these splashes. And then over here, just a little bit of volume on that splash too. And when I say volume, just a bit of underside of here, slightly more three-dimensional. And then if I blend between the two ever so slightly, could help round out that form. But it's just kind of what it is an indication to myself for later on in the process. You keep saying Gamsol. Is it the same as linseed oil or turpentine? No, Lynn. Gamsol is made by Gamblin. It's salt here. Here you go. This is it here. Gamsol, made by Gamblin. It's an odorless, I think it's a petroleum distillate, but it's a turpentine type of product. And it works pretty darn well for brushes. The paint, but I don't use it to paint. I generally just use it for the initial imprimatura, and I rub that back. It's just to form a stain. It's evaporated away completely. And then after the imprimatura, ahead and go over the scene now. But then for cleaning brushes, I'll use it for that. Today, I watched one suggested using a cheap frame. How would you adhere the canvas? So I don't stick the canvas to the frame. I would actually just clip it in. So as much as you do with your display is reversible, this is really important if you're dealing, because not everybody has the same taste in frames. Very few people have my taste in framing. I love really heavy ornamentation, almost like Victorian style. That's my jam. Some people are crazy like me. Would I usually glaze over? Absolutely, Sam. Ocean and sunrise scenes. Would you use? Well, it depends. We're going for, Sam. Right. Yeah, it helps for those who are a bit sensitive to turpentine smells. Me, particularly like the turpentine smells, I must say. I've gone and used all my Flemish in this sitting. We'll mix up a little bit more of a lighter color here. And this can be the area of white water immediately in front of our wave. We'll poke holes in it later, but let's get some of that color in there now. We might even be able to add a little titanium to it, but titanium is very powerful. Cut it with a little bit of Kremnitz. So this is a light blue-gray. We're putting it immediately in front of our curling wave. And how I adjust the gradient in these tones will say so much about the three-dimensionality of how it curls in deep space. Yes, I do, Melissa. Louis the, what was it, Louis the 13th? Yeah, I do. Thank you, Len. I'm glad you're enjoying it despite the glitch. Glitchy Andrew's better than no Andrew. That's what I say. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad we can agree on something. Now, you can do this. We're doing this together, right? It's a really, so far, and I'm liking the simple scene. I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I hope you are too. Again, if you're new, you've never seen it before, sorry about it. It doesn't often happen. It's a new studio, new setup, brand new internet connection. Talk to the people that are in control of the Megapops, and we're going to get that sorted. But if you've enjoyed it so far, click the like button for me, please. Help more people find this in the algorithm. If you want to go even further with your painting journey, then check out Tish Academy. You'll find a link in the description down below. Get yourself a free 7-day trial while you're there. And just everybody in my live in the replay, my Tish Academy, please let people see the Academy so far. You enjoying it? Is it helping your painting journey? It's a community of your newfound friends that also share your love and passion for painting. Let people know what you're getting out of that Academy in those comments. I really appreciate it. And I'd love it if you could check it out. If you're not already part of our community, check it out. 7-day free trial. You can cancel any time in the first money back guarantee, of course. But I gotta say, the Tish Academy, that's the best thing that I've ever been part of, I have to say. No, I haven't. And I don't think I will. There's something about it that doesn't feel that nice. I like wood and linen and canvas. Yes, agreed, Marley's. Zinc is evil. Thank you, Balsam. Thank you, Melissa. It's better than the epic Lord of the Rings trilogy, says Vanessa. That's, wow, that's amazing. Can I cut that out and put that on the website there, Vanessa? You rock. Bloody good. It's not every day you hear something like that. I mean, come on. Why don't I use Amsol during the whole... There's something about oil paint. What it wants to do is it wants to bond and link to itself within a matrix. And what solvent does is it breaks apart those bonds. And so, you know, you can, if you fit, depending on how... I prefer not to, never. Now, mixing it up with some more artists a little more closely, and I'll be relaxing on that rule that I've had for myself for a little while. But I at this stage, I'm still a bit, you know, dubious on that one. Yeah. Great. Yes, it is. Awesome. Yeah, the Belgian linen is very beautiful to paint on. Julia G says she's been watching on YouTube for many years. Academy sooner. Julia, it's a pleasure to have you part of the community there. Better late than never, eh? All right, I'm going to mix up a little bit of a gray color here. It's going to be a really, I said this before, but pared back, desaturated, a bit of burnt umber in here. And what I'm going for is color down in the trough of this wave. I'm thinking about that soup. Let me pull back some palette shots here. And we'll go a bit of ultramarine, bit of cobalt teal, bit of quinacridone magenta. How are we doing on the time? Hour 24. We're doing okay. We've actually covered some ground today. That's good, but we still have a sunset to paint, so I'll get a wiggle on with this part. Now up here in the sky, we're going to get a little more teal, a little more ultramarine blue, a touch of quinacridone, and we're going to lighten the gray towards the top of the curl. Now for me, the wave is just a feature, but it's going to be a really, hopefully, just a beautiful feature in the painting, but and it definitely is a secondary focus. Focus though is that sky and that sunset. That's what we're here for. Right. Now again, if you got a question, hit me up with 3 capital Q's, QQQ. That way I'll see you in the live chat there. Do what Lynn's just done. Am I seeing Viridian green in there? No, we got chromium green oxide. That's what's there on the palette. No Viridian. Phthalo green and chromium green oxide. I do have a tube of Viridian here. I just haven't squeezed it out. Lovely color. I don't often use it, but now I might go ahead and just blend that out and just cover the ground. Mission cover imprimatura, I'm going to call it. I'm starting to get a sense we've got some white water in the foreground sweeping in. We've got this wave coming up. It's ill-defined. We haven't really spelled it out yet. There's something happening in one of these reference material. It's part of this one here. Is it in this one? Yeah. Can you see that? Can you see that dark color of the wave as it gathers behind this wave in front? A little bit of a sense of that in there. I think that'd be neat. Wouldn't that be neat? Yeah, that'd be neat. Let's do it. Let's do it, mate. All right, so now I might get into this one. Here's a number 4 extra long filbert brush. Beautiful brush here. I'm going to get some ultramarine blue, some burnt umber, cobalt teal, and some quinacridone magenta. Pretty far though, so now I think it's time to bring out the phthalo green. Now this is the first time I'm introducing this color. Dangerous, but I don't know. I think it could work. And I love that wave back here, man. This is so cool. But let's just pick up a stripe here and get that gathering wave. Now if it goes too green, what do? So good. Yes, we do. Complementary opposite. So grab your quinacridone magenta. We're going to use that as our complement. We're going to purple it up, red it up, that really strong green right in the head. CJ says, the Tisch Academy is the best bread. You've created much more than you know. CJ, bless you. Well, look, can I say we've created something pretty cool. I just wish people would just jump on, and we're blessed already, but I just want people to jump on and see what it's all about. You know, we're 3,100, and it's it is such a cool community, let me tell you. So thank you, CJ, for that. But it really is that community, right? Now something cool's happened this year. I'll let you in on a little secret, and you're not going to believe who we've got part of the line. But this actually got artists taking part in instructing, and I'm talking world-class masters and some names that are going to floor you. And when I talked to them about what I was doing and how I wanted to team up with them and wanted them to be part of it, they jumped at it immediately. I'm blown away. I can't share with you who it is. I'm not going to even give you a hint as to guess, but we've got a stellar lineup. And here's the best part. You would expect with more artists and more content that the jump, and it's not. At least not immediately. You'll have a chance to get on board. Legacy members right now, that price is not going up. You're locked in at that price. So and you've reserved that. So just thank it with me to all my Tish Academy people. Really appreciate you more than you know. And if you're worried that I'm bringing other artists on so I can take a back seat and slow down, you don't know me very well, do you? I'm just kidding. I like that wave gathering. I think a little actually really helps. I don't know about you. Do you agree? If you do, click that like button. Let me know. Thank you, Danielle. Hey, right back at you. Appreciate you so much. And Danielle, you are one of my OGs. Thank you so much, Danielle. Appreciate it. No, I'm not going to tomorrow. About it. Not yet. Well, we all have our gym. We all have our gym. And I couldn't be happier with who we're teaming up with. Because it's going to allow me to go into my passion, which is big, epic land I'm going to be focused on. And I'll continue to do some portrait stuff. But my big, epic landscapes is where I really spend the next little while. And so these people fill niche are part of that, but very much traditional realism. So the vision is simple. I'll share it with you here. It's traditional realism all the way. It's the stuff in this AI meal world that it's getting overlooked. And it's the stuff that we love, that we want to learn how to do, that we want to celebrate, that we want to hang on our walls, that we go to museums to look at. It's bringing back those timeless traditions. And so I wanted to team up with the best of the best that specialized in what they really are passionate about as well. So a little bit of a break in our wave back there. That's kind of an electric blue. I like that. I'm going to introduce a bit of that down here. And that's the cobalt teal that you see there coming through. So a little bit lighter. Bring some of that into our breaking wave here in the front. I'd like to sign up, Siobhan. Okay. Do we have to do it in USD through America? No. I'm in New Zealand, Siobhan. All you got to do is click the link in the description down below. Get yourself a free 7-day trial. It's easy. You'll be set up and get a profile set up in seconds. All right, so just below this live stream, just click that link in the description down below. Traditional realism never goes out of style. Could not agree more. Truth. Laurie Woodward, it's the truth, my friend. I know you share that love for that with me, and it's a pleasure to share it with you. I love your work, Laurie. And Laurie, I want to thank you for being so active in the community too. I love getting your comments and your posts. It's awesome. Yeah, so thankful to finally found my traditional realism people after feeling like a misfit. You weren't the only misfit in art school there, Deborah. That's my coming up story there. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Cheap frames in a video with someone but didn't specify how. Oh, okay. So Gabrielle, cheap frames. So I actually bought a load of reject odds and ends from a picture framer a long while ago, and I'm still going through it, but I hand finish them. I actually hand gild them and go over and even do some sculptural elements on them. It's quite an involved process, and I've got something on my academy about the framing. My folks can that how they video, but there's a lot of different stuff on the academy. Can I just say the real game changer has been the art business course, and I'm continuing to add modules to that. We'll have another module out next week and then the week after, so there's going to be a lot of material coming your way. Cheap frames are fine. The buyer should be the one to spend the money. You can get away with a cheap frame as long as it looks quality. You know, and by the way, like I'll invest the money up front and get a really nice, good frame, but then that be mine. A little bit of paint here, let's start it, and you'll see here I am out of Crimnitz and Flemish, so let's get a little bit of that out. Man, I use a ton of this stuff. I tell you what. Now, where is my Crimnitz? Let's get out some Crimnitz first. And look, I'm going to be going a little bit overtime today, I can tell. But so far, I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I'm happy with this one. If you think this you'd like to see me finish off, obviously, my Tisch Academy folks, and please, hey, click the like button. If you've gotten something out of this lesson, you're watching the replay, check us out on Tisch Academy and click the like button too, so the algorithms can recommend this to more and more people. If you're seeing me for the first time, I love to paint. My name's Tisch. This is my jam. Nice to meet you. I hope after this live stream I've earned your subscription. Thanks for stopping by. Is Crimson a lot different from stack? It's basically white, and it's a little bit different than stack lead white, but it's very fine. It's a very buttery lead white, but it's pure carbonate. Enjoying every live stream, says Tamara. Thank you, Tamara. Bless you. Thank you so much. Finish this painting today. Yeah, right, Lynn. Lynn, you know me better than that. Come on now. All right, I'm going to take this brush. It's got a little bit. Let me just pull the palette up here. A little bit of this warm on it already, but I'm going to go and override that with some cobalt blue, some white, and some cobalt teal. And right in this section here, above our wave, I think we'll get out a little bit of quinacridone as well. I think we need a little magenta in there. Little cobalt teal, cobalt blue, quinacridone magenta, and plenty of white. So you can see it's pretty bright violet now. But this is going to help us get a little sense of three-dimensionality of the wave. And what we'll do is establish the wave next. So I notice here on top that we've got some of that brighter ambient light shining on top of this right before it breaks. I'll bring a little bit of that brightness down into the foreground. And then just going to brush this across the top of this curling wave. I can worry about details later, but for now, just going to establish a lighter gray to the top plane that's formed by our breaking wave. So now you can see a little bit more structure to it, hopefully. I'm going to drop the value ever so tone, drop it ever so slightly, and we're just going to blend across that heavier wave and the new wave that's breaking in front. You're looking directly across that plane, and so there's a bit of fine brushwork to go in that transition zone, but for now that will just help it melt away, blending it slightly up into the trough of the wave. Across there, work that, blend it the trough, get a nugget there. That burnt umber quinacridone magenta just melts away into your brushwork as you hit it. Then across the top of that wave, let's get a little lighter gray color. That'll help that tie in. There's a nice pop of green coming through there, given by the phthalo. Love it. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a sense of that flat sea, that perspective. We've lost the horizon in the foreground, in the middle section here, not horizon against that sky, but we picked it up left or right. A kind of subtle reflection of that sun just sinking. So what's missing here is the bright light. We're going to cross the head here in the foreground, a little bit of that reflection. I like how this sweep kind of leads our eye. We leap across that little wave there and straight at our light source. Let's see if we can pull off this composition, and it's going to work as we flesh it out here. So this little bit of water, let's have it. I've painted a very similar composition. That's okay. Hey, if it's a good idea, it's still going to be a unique painting because this is way different enough from that painting that I created. Now this one went into my sunsets library. That one ready to go over on the Academy. I've had that many requests for sunsets. We did a little sunset scene yesterday. Tomorrow, I've got a special treat for my Academy folks. On tomorrow's VIP, Academy tier VIP live stream, what we're going to do is a bigger version of last week's color study. I've been going down a rabbit hole recently, all about it. Look at the tonalist and tonalist landscape painting. So we're going to really geek out tomorrow. You're going to come away with some techniques, that's for sure. And I'm actually going to recycle a linen canvas, to be honest. I am going to do, it's good to recycle. Do you recycle? It's good to recycle. I had a sunset scene that I had done a few years ago that is just blocked in. I'm not happy with it. I'm not ever going to finish it. And so I'm going to go ahead and work over the top of that one and create a tonalist sunset landscape. So if that sounds good to you, leave it out. I'm using basic red carbonate. See you later, Balsam. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, more opaque. There you go, Kat. Now, Kat, did you get that from the Blue Ridge website? Just confirm. Oh, hey, Kay, if procrastination or frustration is a thing, check out the latest installment of the Creator Activator. It's coming your way. Probably will be releasing that one next week. Okay? So there's some content to get into that I guarantee will help if you're finding yourself in that spot. But maybe I'm coming into that conversation context. Apologies if so. But just saw your comment there. Okay, we'll just break up the top of that wave, pull it over. Subtle little break there, a little bit of a scoop. Can you see it? Can you feel this? Can you feel it? I can. Not only is it scooping, but I'm digging it. So I'm going to mix up here because you can't see my palette, but it's okay. Simple combination, ultramarine blue and burnt umber to help it coordinate. Quinacridone magenta coming in with a darker violet color to give me a sense of darker tone against this lip of whitewater. So that will help it feel like a physical thickness, like heavy cream being whipped up. And flowing onto the shore. Love it. Let me get rid of that stinking reference material. There we go. Still recording tomorrow. So you can see just lowering the tone slightly. I'll come back. Now, right now, by the way, I didn't tell you, I'm sneaky like that. I changed my brush. I'm using a 274 brush. It's a very soft brush, and it's really great for some nice blended edges and some smooth surface. So we got this sweep, and you know how you're walking along this and it comes up onto the shore and scoops. I'm seeing a little bit of an indication of that in my reference material. I'm digging it. So let me get a little more flame, a little bit of quinacridone magenta and ultramarine blue, cobalt blue here. And then right here along this edge, I'm just going to add now just a little bit of a brighter stripe. That will give it even more sense of okay, you're reading my mind. Yeah, I can do that. You make a video on how to recycle. Melissa, tomorrow's I'll show you. I'm going to show you when you see. I'll give you a heads up. Paint up. Now, if you do a block end and you keep the texture, I guarantee my Tisch Academy students are going to see this paint and be like, not that one. Don't paint over it. But I'm gonna bloody well paint over it. I'll tell you what. It is going to die. It is going to die a slow, horrible death. That's better. But if you keep that texture down, and here I'm keeping the texture down, not because I want to paint over it, but just because I might want to shift things in the composition. Yeah, sunrises east of Aussie. This takes days of sunsets at Leighton Beach. This is what we would get at Leighton Beach. Beautiful, beautiful landscape, beautiful. No one has beaches like Australia. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You might think them Aussies, they got the beaches. It's just unbelievable. I'm a little bit partial to WA because I spent so many years there. I kind of grew up there. I arrived in Perth at the age of 10, and I stayed until I was about, oh gosh, 29? So a while. New Zealand has some pretty nice beaches too, but New Zealand I'd have to take the cake when it comes to drama and really beautiful dramatic seascapes. Though that said, I have not been to Iceland yet or Cornwall. So I understand that over there in Europe and in the UK and in Scandinavia, Iceland, and y'all have some pretty epic seascapes too. So. All right, I'm frissing with the curl in my wave, and I need to stop because time's a ticking. But I'm just poking a couple of little holes in there. We'll come back later in detail, but I feel, I don't know about you, but I feel where that wave's going. I feel the break, I can feel the curl, and that's all I really want in this block ends. The other thing though that I want to feel is I want to feel a little light across this central area, especially as it's going to be in the sky. The first thing is gray that's coming through. I hope I've been with the of it so far though. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Now, let's get into a bit of that Flemish white. Lift the tone slightly. And because I've been preserving my tone, introduce a bit of, with some quinacridone, with some nickel yellow, with a bit of cadmium red. Because preserving the tone, and I'm all the way up of that tonal range. So I've stayed well away from pure white. Anything too bright. Now I can start really introducing some volume, kicking up the volume, start cranking it up. Right now, if it goes up to 11. Oli, are you in Iceland? I saw something on Instagram the other day and I'm like, man, I gotta get to Iceland. It looks incredible. Yeah, little spider. Put that out, okay? That's just where my sun's gonna go. So we're gonna have the light shining out of that sky. So I'm brushing in here a little bit of Flemish white, a little bit of Naples, nickel deep, so slightly deeper, slightly redder than the nickel yellow. And just working a bit of that warmth into this, just this initial part in front of this curling wave. A little bit of that warmth as such on that wave. Just a bit of that warm glow. It's subtle. It's a subtle little shift. Lifting the tone in front of that curl. It's helping it sweep up, appear a little more three-dimensional. Painting and watching the chat. Yes, I am. I'm keeping an eye on you, Danielle. I'd be good at juggling, huh? All right, it's just, you can see here, it's just a subtle amount of brightness, just a little Flemish, a little bit more, and I'm just calling out the colors so y'all can see it here. And then across the top of this wave, we're going to introduce a little of that color there. And I'm going to blend it in slightly, break up that line so it's not quite flat. So now hopefully you can see how we're texture. The brightest spot going to... I'm just prepping the road for it, just adding a little bit to my tone. So lifting the tone, lifting the value. It's subtle. You want to keep... Now as this wave starts to curl over, then we're going to be picking up some light. And I got a question here from Jennifer. Do the video similar glitch? No, it's just the YouTube thing. I'll have to say the videos on the Academy are flippin' flawless. So you'll enjoy that. We've got some fantastic editors that do footage. And I'm recording all the footage here in studio in HD. And you've got some nice background music on there. And they're all fully voiced over. I'm explaining everything, all techniques. So go ahead and check it out. Again, for the audio glitch, it's just a live thing. Okay, now let's start to paint this sand here in the foreground. What is that going to look like? Well, this sand being wet is going to be a reflection of that sky up there. First, I want to get this color established. Let's go ahead and mix it now. I'll bring my palette cam back. We'll go ahead and go back to the wide shot here. And so whatever's happening up here in the sky, we're going to just reflect it down here in the sand. Marcus lives in Cornwall. I've got some people to visit. Looks like I'm going to go see Oli in Iceland. And I'm from an island south of Iceland. It's part of Iceland though. 30-minute ferry ride from the mainland. Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, it looks like I'm visiting Marcus too in Cornwall. You're going to have to show me some really cool spots. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Chances are you might be watching here and you might just be tuning in live. We're not long before we wrap this one up. But if you're new here, if we haven't met, my name's Tish. My full name's Andrew Tischler. That's the name of my channel, but you can call me Tish. That's my nickname. My friends call me Tish. And It's a pleasure to have your company here. And I hope you've learned something today in this live stream. And if you did, then go ahead and chuck me a thumbs up, will you? We're talking about sunsets. I've been painting in oils. This is a 20 by 40 inch piece. Decent old size. And we've been blocking this in the last couple of hours. I'll go ahead and keep going until I finish the block in today. And so I'm going to go a little over that to base it. I generally do go over the time allocated. Yeah, we've gone over, we're 1 minute over. So I think what we have to do here, and even if it's a half hour longer than what I said, then hey, we can do what we like, can't we? So that color that we mixed up in the sky, quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, a little bit of Naples yellow. There we go. Miss you in the kin of Peru, Andrew. Drive is too killer. Oh, Cat. I forgot, you're in kin of Peru too. You used to see us walking. Yeah, good to see you in the live chat here. I'll be back. I got to drive up to Peru here at some, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of plein air. I'm going to be catching up with friends. I'm also going to be doing a big commission. A pal of mine who lives in Waitaria Bay. But kin of Peru, I tell you what, it is a beautiful part of the world. Really blessed time there. One of New Zealand's best kept secrets, I reckon. Keep on going, says Danielle. Will Danielle. So my thinking is that this area of sand that's getting lapped by these waves, as those waves draw back and they come back over again, that we're getting a reflection. So whatever is that's going to be reflected directly below. So I'm going to draw through here pretty much in a vertical fashion. Just wherever we have a cloud, simply reflecting that cloud sand. Colors that we have up here might be a touch dark there, but that's okay. That will help anchor it. And if I draw it down vertically, it might help give a little bit of an indication of that reflective quality. So I'm not going on a diagonal here. I could either go horizontal or vertical, but I'm going to try and keep my brush stroke that look of reflection. So we'll go to a close-up view here, slightly closer view. Let's get out of the way. The doofus can go up here in the top left. There we go. Based in Rye Valley. I was in White. Yeah, cool. Fantastic cat. Awesome. Beautiful spot, eh? Beautiful spot. Are you Tapu? That's awesome. There's a wow, that's neat. That's my old stomping grounds, eh? Yeah, we looked at some places in Motapu Bay there. In fact, sometimes in winter we wished we were in Motapu, Gabriel, because we never got sun for months and months and months. In winter, we didn't get sun. We were over in Fish Bay. Beautiful spot though. We're the only permanent or full-time in the bay. And that was nice. Did get a little bit quiet, but still very nice. I'm going to blend that off the edge so we lose it. Draw the eye too much. Actually, Lorna, I would have to agree. Alaska is quite beautiful too. I have been there. It was pretty much rained out the entire time, but I did get some interesting shapes. I got some great reference of Tracy Arm and the glacier as well. That's something I paint for years and years, but still, I've got some fantastic references from that trip. All right, what I'm going to do now is just kind of, I am blending a little bit. It's quick, it's kind of ugly, but I'm just pushing that paint into the surface, and I'm going to go ahead and soften everything out. That'll help bring on a quality, but hopefully you can see now where we're going with this. As I blend down vertically, you can see, and brushing across slightly, just images. Now we've got kind of a little bit of a burnt spot, more when we get some lighter tones up in that sky, but hopefully you can see now where we're going with this. Man, I'm actually surprised we've covered so much of the canvas today. I'm going to tell you, I'm actually surprised. It's always a little bit of a toss-up when it comes to a live stream. Thank you for suffering through those glitches with me. Leaving some orange. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so now this is what we've been building this entire time, building towards. Is this collection of colors that's going to be here in our sun. And now different colors and having this version of color. Another hour. I don't even care at this point. I'm going to keep going. Is that okay? All right with you? Okay. Probably not going to oil over this one for a good while there, Lisa. And I'll be working on a different piece tomorrow for my Tisch Academy folks. I'm going to refresh my cameras here. And as I said, if I have to go for an extra hour, I'll do it. You can come back and watch the replay. I'm recording on these cameras, so for my Tisch Academy peeps, you'll get a HD video feed as well as a palette as well. So you're all right if I keep going? Nettie as well later today, but thanks for tuning in for this one. When am I doing the second part of the Autumn Leaves? Hey, Terralina, I'm glad you're here. Hey, look, I've filmed the whole thing. It's with my editor now, and we're cutting a full 4-part series. The first one's coming out in the next few weeks, so stay with us. Please keep going. Yep, keep going. All right, here we go. There we go. Then we have it. We're doing it. We're doing it. Now I'm going to get myself a brand new dagger brush. Oh, I'll tell you what, there's very little that's better than a brand new dagger brush. Let's go ahead and get a closer view, and let me just adjust this a little bit here. Let's get a slight view on our sky, and let me talk to you about these colors here. Okay. Now again, if you're just tuning in and you're wondering what that is, that was our plan and our initial composition. The light source is going to go. Now, in the bigger context of things, this is at the golden ratio mark of 1 is to 1.618, and my 1 is 1.618. Okay, let's go to close cam here and start planning and mapping in some of this color. So, little tricky, little nervous, not going to lie. Not going to lie. What we're going to need to do, though, is we're going to need to talk color. So let's go ahead and get in here. I've got a little bit of color here. It's gray and blue coming through. Probably a little bit too much blue. So now I'm going to use a palette knife and just give myself a clean working area. There is something that really helps me. It's these cleaning wipes for specifically for painters. They're for house painters. They work fantastic for oil paint. Now I do make sure I get all of this off my palette. They'll have this at home. I'll have them at Bunny, so check them out. So these particular ones, not a sponsor, okay, but they're just Sally's cleaning wipes, okay. So they're for mechanics, for painters, for those easy jobs. And they just seem to cut through the oil paint a lot better than the baby wipes. The heck, I'm using baby wipes. This is where it's at. Just get that residue off your palette, okay? Don't have that in the, get some fresh paper towel. Now, we've got a clean area to work, a clean brush. That's important. Let's start to add a warm flush for a orange. Now, I've got some choices here. I've got nickel yellow deep. And let me just see if I drag that palette a little more. There we go. I've got nickel yellow deep, Hansa yellow. I've got some Indian yellow, cadmium red, and quinacridone magenta. So that range will get me most of the set. But it's important to know what these colors do in terms of transparency and opacity. Okay, and you'll start, as the more you use these colors, the more you're going to learn qualities of oil paint. So here, I'm going to have a nice transparent base. We're going to go for some Flemish white, some Cremonence white. I'm going to mix those together. I've got a little bit of Liquid Original in there. We'll start there with white, and I'm going nickel yellow deep. Now, that's actually a pretty strong yellow, you'll see right there. But it's pretty opaque, that nickel yellow. So I'm going to add to that a touch of crimson and a nice subdued orange. So just a little bit of a flush. All we're looking at doing is lifting the tone and the gradually. Not too much, not too heavy-handed, just a gradual step up. Now, can we go bright on that? Absolutely. Right now, probably. So I'm going to add a touch more permanent crimson. I think what we could do is get with our color. So I'm for Hansa here. Mix that in. That gave me the heat I was looking for. Fantastic. Nice, warm, beautifully transparent yellow. Now, why do you want transparent yellow? Well, it's really nice for its tinting ability if you've got something transparent, and it avoids this ability. Now I'm going to start brushing in this beautiful kind of golden orange. And specifically, the reference that I'm looking at is this one. I love that color dynamic. So we're going to start to introduce that color dynamic into our sky. To work around some of those fins of cloud, those clouds sticking up. Now, because we're orange here, and we're not orange, as I mix into the surrounding colors, abundance of blue, it will not go green. It'll turn gray. We want gray. Why? Because that orange and blue complementary effect. What size is the canvas? Lana, 20 by 40. So you can see this color is actually so dang close to the improvement. So now we're going to add a little more Naples, a little more Cremonence white now, and a touch more of the permanent crimson. We'll add to that a little more of the Hansa. I'm just calling out the colors. It's the same combination. Now this one might turn a little green because it's going a little bit yellow. So if it does, no problem. Don't freak out. It's going to be all right. Get a little more red in there. So pull it back into red. Then right here against those two where I want to have a boundary and blend slightly and have that transition down into this warmer yellow color. Just going to work across that boundary. It's not bad. A little bit dirty on that color, but that's okay. We're going to work across it once more. Lift out the tone with a bit of white. Pump up again with just yellow, some more Flemish white and nickel yellow. And now we can add a couple of brighter white highlights here. I just love what starts to happen as we're playing with that tone and those values and start creating a bit of dimension in our sky. Nickel, that's right. 20 by 40 inches there, Lana. Do you blend the colors or leave the brush strokes? The wave looks amazing. Prachi, what I do is I will generally just tamp down the brushwork, but I'm going to keep and maintain some of the luminous, but I'm just going to add the top. So this is what I'd refer to as just a blocky. Now, Jim Meeker, I hope this might help. The seascape, I saw your initial imprimatura. It looked like burnt umber. The one you were saying was inspired by Adam Stevens, one of our academy. Is that going to be a sunset scene, brother? Let me know. I'm loving it so far. That destroyer ship, if that's what it is, on the water, that's a cool looking painting, man, I tell you what. Those lines in the sky, dare you, Terralina. Yeah, they could be. They could be. But that is classified information. It's a sunset. Awesome. I thought so. That's going to be cool. All right. I'm going to get out here a little bit of cobalt teal, some more Cremnitz white, a little bit more nickel. Start adding just a little bit of brightness to the sky up here. And a bit more white will help with that transition zone. I'm actually applying this now, working in an opposite direction with a fan brush. Yes, Carol Lazo, that's all I'm using. And I'm using the Flemish white, the titanium white, the Cremnitz white. All my colors for that from Blue Ridge. Handmade oil paint out of North Carolina in the US. Really beautiful stuff. All right. This bank here of cloud, I think one of the things we could do is add to the lead edge of that bank of cloud with some brighter tone. And I'm imagining a little bit of that sunlight sneaking up in there, lighting the underside of those clouds. Right. Making sure everything's in focus. Just going to blend slightly across that. Now I'm pretty happy with the color there, but it's just the tone. We need to bring the light now. That's what we really need, is that sense of light to come through. I do like that area too. So let's go ahead and I'm going to add a bit more brightness to this now. As our compositions start to come together, we start getting a little more beautiful quality and lightness to this gray. Bring it down into this zone. It's pretty bright, that sky, right next to the light source. Now, if I got a complement, then I'm not going to get the green. A little bit of ambiguity is great in your sky. Sometimes it's nice to not tell whether the clouds are coming or going, or if one's over the top or one's behind. It just helps it look a little more natural. We can bring a bit of that quality over onto that other side as well. So these colors over. Let's go ahead and introduce slide 2. The chat is blowing up. If I missed your question, hit me up again. It is going faster than I can keep up. But thank you so much for that today, and amazing questions too. Really appreciate that. I tell you what, the Tisch Academy community really does bring it. Appreciate seeing you folks on each and every live stream here. But for all my newcomers, if you haven't seen me before, if this is the first time you're catching me paint live, if we've never met, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for spending the time with me here. A little ways to go here. I'll probably be going another 15. We really got to bring this thing home, and it's that sense of light. I like the streakiness to the cloud. It seems to be gathering, moving. I like the different layers. Now you can see the method in my madness with the color that I've chosen here and the form of these clouds and its effect. So, right. Whole seascape is starting to look great. Thank you, Tamara. Appreciate that. Just going to kill a little bit of that imprimatura that's coming through. Now, I think we're ready for it. I don't know if I'm ready. Am I ready? Oh, yeah, let's do it. Fan brush again, and let's go over to the palette and let's talk about value. Now, the big thing with my paintings, you know, it's all about creating that sense of light. You can only create a sense of light if you've preserved your tones, all right? You get it? You get it. For me talking about it. So we want to create that sense of light, particularly right here with our brightest area of the painting, this sunspot. Now let me just readjust so we can talk while introducing that. And let me just make sure I am totally focused. All right. So over here on the palette, now it would make sense to go for an opaque white. Get in there a mix. So it's about a 3/4 white, let's call it. If our Flemish appears to be about 50-50, it really does. I'm going to go half Flemish, half titanium, 1/4 opacity white, if we're considering titanium white full opacity, and I do. I'm going to mix into that some Hansa yellow. I'm going to kick it with just a touch of Indian, a beautiful, warm, golden yellow. Check that out. Beautiful color. And you can see we're actually going right the way across on that palette. Now I'm just using that fan brush. It's messy, but it's nice. It's going to give us a really nice vibe. And let's go brighter still. So now we've achieved a really great orange. Let's go bright Hansa, a little more gold than orange, I think. There we go. Roll that off the brush. Let's get a bit more gold on there. So a little bit of nickel is going to help. Let's try that. Let's try this. Now I've got, this thing is ridiculously caked in paint. You don't believe me, check this out. This thing is so friggin' loaded, it is disgusting how loaded this is. All right, so now is head. painting in our light source and the effects of our light source. I'm going to preserve the shapes that we had in the foreground. I'm going to work across that spot, leave the dark spot, tonal best. We're not quite there yet. That's right. And the thing about the fan brush is as you twist it, you can create some really amazing textures in a random way. They feel like very natural. How about now? Okay, I'm just going to be coming through camera audio. My microphones have now failed. So let me know just if you can hear me right now. Okay, it's not going to be the same quality, but hopefully it's coming through okay. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it might sound a little airy and echoey because of it's just coming straight through the camera now. Okay, cool. Awesome. Loud and clear. Excellent, excellent. Well, it's mainly a visual thing anyway, so as long as you can see what I'm doing. This is better actually. Oh, wow. Okay, well, stuff the Rode Wireless Go. I'm just going to rock this one tomorrow. Is that actually better? Sorry, Marcus. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, now I know. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Who's learning something today? Is anybody learning something today? You coming away with the technique? Have I got you thinking? Who's desperate to try this? Just a little flush of orange coming through with the fan brush. Absolutely love it. New colors, yeah. So a little bit of cadmium red in there coming through. Now I think this area here just needs a little bit more of that warm flush. Just gonna lift it up just a little bit with that fan brush, just get a little bit of a stripe through there. I've left that dark spot. That's gonna bother you on purpose. I'm doing it on purpose. I want you to know that. I know, I'm terrible. But I'm doing it on purpose because I'm gonna be saving that tonal best for last. So the next thing I want to do is add some of the lining to these clouds because we've got a light source now. It's starting to glow in this sky. And so this light's going to be bouncing off these edges, these lead edges on our clouds. Okay, so I'm going to go for a neutral but a warmish gray. I'm going to adjust my camera here so y'all can see. You still have the best seats in the house. So Let's go to wide cam, make sure we're good and focused. There we go. Now, with my dagger brush, I'm going to call out the mix. It's going to be a combination of burnt umber, Cremnitz white, ultramarine blue, and some of these brighter tones that we've been mixing with a little bit of quinacridone magenta. So it's kind of a grayed out color. It's the effect of the glow, but it's not direct light. Let's just see if we're close. It should be a nice warm gray, and I just want to paint it along the lead edge of some of these clouds. Now you'll know straight away if you've got the right tone. To me, I think I'm a little dark, and I could use just a touch of brightness here. I'm never using those Rode wireless Go microphones again, like ever. I'm glad it's clear. I really apologize. Now we know. I thought it was something I was doing. Just a little bit of an underside to one of these clouds here. Pick up a little highlight there. Maybe across here we could have a little bit of a highlight. And when I say highlight, I use that term rather loosely. Not a strong highlight at all, but just a lift of the tone. Now with this, I'm going to use that lighter gray to work into those edges. Make that feel a little more vaporous. And then along that lead edge, all right. What fun. Goodness me. Now look, you could be doing anything with your evening or your morning or your day, wherever you're watching in the world. But somehow you've stumbled onto this live stream and we're hanging out. And I just want to take a moment and recognize you, and I just give you my heartfelt appreciation for spending this time with me here in the studio. I love to paint. In fact, to me, it's the best thing ever. But what's even better is doing it while you're hanging out with your friends. So thank you very much. And if we're new pals, if we've just met, then hey, I hope now that I've earned your subscription after this live stream, and you come back for more. We got even more to talk about. We got a lot more to talk about, let's face it. Now, we've got a little more to talk about in this painting. Let's go to close cam. Here we go. All right, now, that sky is burning out. It's coming down here, reflecting in that water. I'm thinking about the burnout in that sky. Okay, so let's get a little bit of that reflection down in here in a horizontal fashion, working across some of that reflection that we had earlier that we brought down vertically. Just a couple of marks here across that wet sand. Not too much. Just a little bit. Couple of streaks across there. Right. Now, the water itself is actually pretty reflective too, huh? Yeah, it is. No, it is. It is. So little windows, little reflections popping through here and there, just a little bit. Wouldn't be a sparkle per se, but just a little bit of a pop of orange right there. Might help tie these together. Oh gosh. Hey, you're welcome tomorrow. All right. Thank you, Gotham. Appreciate it. You want a surfer in there? Not going to happen. Forget about it. All right. Now, here's the thing. If I've done my job correctly, and I don't know that I have, but if I have, then right now, we should have the ability to make that appear bright. How are we going to do it? Well, the first step, I'm going to wipe off my brush. I've wiped off my fan brush with a bit of paper towel. I'm going to go over to my palette. I'm going to step it up just once. I'm going to get into some Hansa yellow, bright golden yellow with a touch of titanium, some liquid impasto for a bit of impasto texture. Nothing reflects light like thick white or lighter toned paint. And we're going to get right over that sunspot right there. We're going to cover it with our white and Hansa combination. Point load or end load those bristles. I'm going to blend that ever so slightly into the surrounding, that apricot orangey color. We're going to add a touch more brightness either side, blend it in slightly, and now I might just add a touch more Hansa to it because I want a bit more of that gold to come through. Let's feather a bit of that in, a bit more color. Yeah. Okay, new brush. Right, moving on, new brush. What looks good? What looks good? What looks good? Oh, here's an old trimmed flat bristle brush, a really old one. Around about a number size 4. Pure titanium white now, just a hint of Hansa in there. Bit more titanium white. And here we go. Just one spot of thicker, brighter white paint. I'm just building up a little bit of texture there so it reflects a little more light. All right. Finally, I think we could just add a touch more down here. To our reflected light. And maybe just a touch more across this surface down here. Just a couple of spots. That'll all come out in the detail portion. But just a little something to give it a bit of a lift. Bam, says Irene. Bam! Oh gosh, wow, there we go. We went a little overtime today. About half an hour over, but that's okay. No, 45 minutes over. Goodness me. Let's take a wide shot and a look at what we've done today. And have a quick recap of what we talked about. So, we blocked in a sunset scene. This was, if you'll recall, if we go back to the start of our live stream, was a combination of reference materials. So I was looking here at some Great Ocean Road reference. I was looking at iPhone shots that I'd taken out the car window. everywhere you look, you're going to be picking up reference. If you got your phone in your pocket, just shoot some stuff. You never know when you could drop it into a painting. And I was even looking at stuff from the west coast of New Zealand. I'm deeply inspired by Frederick Judd Wall, so I'm drawing upon some ideas that we can see in the old masters painting. So I got a collection of Frederick Judd Wall paintings here. Just love it. And then when we take all of these inspirations, all this inspiration, add it together, put it in the blender, well then we can achieve a little something like that. So you can see the strategy here, the sequence. Go back and watch this again, check out the replay. If you got something out of this live stream, look, this is only layer one. My paintings often are up to half a dozen layers of details and glazing and all sorts of things. I'll probably finish off this scene. No, I might paint over it. I don't know. Shall I paint over it? Yeah, I'll paint over it. I'm kidding, I'm not going to. I'm actually really liking this. So, if you got something out of this, then just imagine, we do this every single week, live, over on Tisch Academy. Check out the Tisch Academy VIP tier. And so, over on Tisch Academy right now, if you click that link in the description down below, you're going to get yourself a free 7-day trial. It also comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. But this is really where the rubber hits the road when it comes to painting instruction. No stone left unturned. All of the techniques that you wish you had learned in art school. I've been a professional artist now for over 20 years. I've been selling my work worldwide, had sellout shows, been working on commissions. I'm working on a waiting list right now. I could make it as a professional artist. And I'm not saying that as a brag. I'm saying that because I want you to know that my biggest passion, the thing that jazzes me more than selling paintings and painting realistic landscapes, is hanging out with the community that we built over there on Tisch Academy. It's sharing what I've gathered over the years and being part of something that is becoming a little bit of a movement. And I'm really, really proud to be part of that community. So shout out to all my Tisch Academy peeps. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow in tomorrow's exclusive Academy tier VIP live stream. We're going to be carrying on with the sunset theme, working on another painting. We're going to be in the tradition of the tonalists. We're going to geek out. We're going to go for 3 hours tomorrow. So go ahead and get yourself a free 7-day trial. Sign up, click that link down below. But I tell you what, that's it from me here in the studio, coming to you live from Wanaka, New Zealand. Sorry about the audio in the beginning of this live stream, but I've enjoyed your company very much. And I will see you tomorrow, my VIP Academy people, and I'll see you in another few weeks if you're watching live on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button. Thanks so much for your company, and I'll catch you again soon.